Namaste. You know, I got to thinking, I've been watching videos all afternoon, and some of them are from people I've never even heard of before, which is great. Discovery is a beautiful freaking thing, you know? But one kind of struck me as this one gentleman who has a YouTube channel. He lost his mother recently, and so he's dedicating his channel from this point forward to his beautiful mother. Now, why does this hit me? Not because I'm a mama's boy, but because I've been married for over 20 and a half and almost 1 month years, you know. And during that time, there was tragedy and beauty that happened all at once, you know. And my family pretty much had not abandoned me per se. You know, maybe they did. But everybody kind of went against me. And I understand it now, but I didn't understand it then. To a certain extent. So I disowned them. That's the kind of life I lived, you know. Growing up, my dad was always telling me, "Oh, we'll disown you for this, we'll disown you for that," you know. You'll be disowned if you date a black girl. Nothing made me want to date a black girl more than after they said that. And there was one in particular in high school. Yeah. She ended up becoming our class queen. But, yeah, I dug her way before that. Well, anyway, I decided to vote independent when I turned 18. And just that alone, from a Democratic family, they said they were disowning me. And I said, cool, who needs you? You know? Thanks for the Christmas gifts, the fake love, the hugs, the food. Carry on. And I moved my happy ass out to Colorado. Well, of course, those people who were going to disown me, they liked the fact that I stood for what I believed in, after all, and even though they may not have agreed with me politically, they came around, you know, to understand that we can agree to disagree and leave that out of conversations. But after I remarried, after my first wife's passing, our family lost their minds. And what they said about me to my new wife, behind my back, was partial truth and partial perception. So it was truth from where they were coming from, but it wasn't facts as far as who I was. But I guess my family never knew who I really was, especially after I joined the Army. They didn't believe I was joining the Army. Here I was, 26, with a 2-year-old. After I joined the Army, they didn't think I'd make it past basic. After basic, they was like, oh, there's no way he's going to make the first 3 years, you know, his 3 years. And I did all that, which really scrambled the brains, and I didn't realize it at the time. I was just trying to do the right thing by my son, you know. And so anyway, after I got married, all this stuff started coming to light. The mask. If it wasn't bad enough during my first wife's funeral, of seeing how people really were, how the mask was falling off of everybody, I really got a hardcore lesson that first year and a half of my new marriage. And so I walked away from them, which was easy because they were in Indiana, Colorado, and I was in Texas. Never talked to them again. And my parents have since passed away, my grandma, my grandpa, and uncles and aunts, and all sorts of people. I only have one surviving member, and that's my younger sister, who hates me for whatever reason. She chooses, you know. That's on her. I hope she gets over it. But I will say I was raised by the best mom that this guy could ever have. Growing up, my dad felt that it was more important to go out and party with friends, fight the cops, and leave the raising of the kids to my mom. Well, on one point, it was a good idea, now that I see it differently. But on another point, a man needs a man in his life. But my dad was not that man. And God bless his spirit. I know he did what he could. Given whatever he had grown up with, I don't know. My grandpa seemed like a really nice guy, but then again, we all are to our grandkids, right? So, yeah, my mother was the best. I remember making her cry one time when I told her I had a girlfriend, and she asked me what she looked like. And during my younger years, you know, I was pretty open-minded, and I just said, well, you know, she might be considered a little weighty, which meant she was chunky. She wasn't fat, but she was chunky. And my mom started crying. She's like, that's the kind of boy I want to raise, is someone who can look past the external to realize the beauty of the internal. My mom was badass. She's also instrumental in me passing grades when I was younger. They wanted to hold me back in 6th grade, but they kept me going, you know. I just didn't care for school, you know. I was all about the girls. And she was, you give her a sewing machine, she'll make you anything. She made her clothes. She would make Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls for the school systems there in Terre Haute, Indiana, because they wanted them, and she made sure that I wasn't spanked. Well, she finally gave that up, so in junior high they get it. Ooh, boy, did I get it. She was the disciplinarian. She was also the teacher and the mom. So all the great moms out there that had to deal with the BS of life, or with a wayward husband and still raise their kids, God bless you. I love you. I thank you. I honor you. I salute you.